Thank you, Phyllis. Good morning and happy Mother's Day. My name is Dan and I'll be the service leader today. Welcome to Unity of Bloomington. At Unity, we offer practical spiritual teachings that empower abundant and meaningful living. We are a center for spiritual growth, and we provide inspiration, tools, and practices that support people on their path of spiritual growth. We also extend a special welcome to those of you who are joining us online today. If you would like to find out more about us or receive our newsletter, we invite you to visit our website at unityofbloomington.org, O-R-G. You can also subscribe to our newsletter while you're visiting our website. Please stand and join in combining our voices in joyful song.
Changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life.
If you're a thinker who thinks the thought that I am who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life.
There we go. If you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light, I am more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light that brightens someone's darkest night. I'm so much more than meets the eye. I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes the things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thoughts. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life.
All right.
Celebrating all that we are, all that we have. We are celebrating all we are becoming today. All we are becoming today. All we are becoming today.
Please join me in affirming our statement of being. Together, there's only one presence and one power in the universe, God the good, omnipotent. This power expresses life, love, wisdom, and abundance through me. In it, I live and move and have my being. Please be seated. One way at Unity we empower abundant and meaningful living is by practicing and living our 5 basic principles. I will state the principle and invite you to respond with the affirmation. God is all good and active in everything, everywhere. God is. I am naturally good because God's divinity is in me and everyone. I am. I create my experiences by what I think, feel, do, and believe. I create. Through affirmative prayer and meditation, I connect with God and bring out the good in my life. I pray. I do and give my best by living the truth I know. I make a difference. I live. And now I invite Reverend Lynette up for our moment with the adults.
I'm going to speak to adult children today. And I have a cool story to say about mothers and change. My dad was 90 in January, and my mother will be 90 a month from tomorrow. And Mom has already said that things felt like they've been downhill since 80, so lots of health challenges. She says the only place we ever go anymore is to the doctor. So, but they're doing their best to hang in there. As you may know, my dad was hospitalized last month, and he's happy in the nursing home, and his mind has cleared. That's the best news. He didn't really consistently know who we were or where he was at one point, but he's signing checks again now, so we know he's fine. But I'm just amazed watching my mother move through this whole process. And she's been an amazing example to me of navigating change gracefully. When the EMTs came to pick Daddy up off the floor for the second time in 5 days, he was confused enough that they couldn't answer his questions. So the head lady said, "I can't ethically leave him." And my mother says, "You're not taking him." And the EMT said, "I'm not leaving without him." And she had 4 firefighters with her. And I said, "Can they at least step outside if we're going to argue this through?" And she said, "No, we stay together." So I thought, we don't have enough room for everybody to sleep here tonight, so I guess he's going to have to go. And Mom agreed to that. She said, "Well, if they can find out what's going on with him, that'd be great." But she said, "Don't hospitalize him." So I went with him to the ER, got to ride in an ambulance, although they made me ride in the front seat. And we got there, and Mom says, I don't want him admitted. So we talked with a variety of doctors, and they did a variety of tests, and they still didn't know what was going on. And just that day, we had talked about whether or not hospice might be appropriate for him. So one of the doctors said, if you admit him, then we can get him evaluated for hospice. Mom said, "Okay, admit him." So we did, and I lasted less than 24 hours at bedside because I just antagonized him. And so he remained there. I went back to Mom's, and the next morning, I said, we're going to see if we can get him discharged today and see if they'll refer him into hospice or at least palliative care. And she said, I really wish they'd release him into a nursing home. I said, well, that's a game changer. It'll be much easier to have that happen because they didn't think he ought to be at home. And we didn't either, but I wasn't going to try to tell Mom what to do. So she made that decision. So we found a nursing home for him, and last Saturday, I got a call from my sister saying, I talked to Mom this morning, and she said she was missing Daddy, and she had a home care stay with her a couple nights that week because she wasn't feeling well. And I said, Mom, Daddy's in a double room. If you want a room with him, you can, kind of half jokingly. And my mother's response was, you don't know how many times I've thought of that myself. So from then until Wednesday night, Mom called and she said, well, I've decided I'm selling this house and I'm going to move into the nursing home with your dad. I said, okay, good. She said, when I had talked with her after I heard from my sister, I left that one out, and said, Mom, you're going to go to the nursing home Monday morning because Daddy had some papers to sign. I said, ask them. It doesn't cost anything to inquire. She said, but what would I do with this house and everything in it? I said, let your children take care of that for you. Thinking I'm volunteering my sister who lives a mile from her, but I said, I would help. So by the time I talked to her Wednesday night, she was ready to go. She said, I found I can sell this house as is, which means we can get all the stuff we want out of it, and I can get whatever I need, and we can leave the rest of it for the realtor to deal with. I said, sounds like a plan. So she doesn't need skilled nursing care like Daddy does, but she's willing to move into assisted living so she can be in the same facility. And she says, I'll worry less if I keep an eye on him. So I have watched her move through this with what feels to me like lightning speed. And I'm really proud of her. But I realize she's also giving me a roadmap. Because should I live to the ripe old age, which is kind of a tradition in my family, I may have to make some of these same decisions at some point. So my mother is Virginia, so if you think about navigating change gracefully, just invoke her spirit, and I'm sure she will be right there to help you know what the next right thing to do is. And not until it's time to do it. It's not like she had this all planned out. This is not at all what she envisioned, but this is the hand she's been dealt, and I'm proud of the way she's played it. Thank you.
You are the future, and we love you. You are the future, and we honor you. You are the future, and we lift you up. You are the future, you're divine.
Our theme this year, or this month, is change. And sometimes we wish that things would never change. We may resist the thought that change is a necessary part of life. But any one of us looking back can see that changes have been responsible for great good in us and in our life. What if we decided to embrace change as a gift, as an opportunity, an enchanting miracle? If change comes into our life, if some relationship has changed, if we have changed jobs or place of residence, whatever the change may be, we can know that God is in the midst of the change, opening new doors and revealing new paths. Every change brings with it some new good. And the most important difference from changing circumstances and conditions brings is the inner transformation that takes place in us. You know, whether it is a change of thought, an elevation of consciousness, or the renewal of spirit, we are assured that we can experience the enchanting miracle of change with confidence and ease. And so join me in saying this month's affirmation together. I embrace change and navigate it gracefully. I like that. I'd like to highlight a couple of the following announcements. One, New Hope for Families is having an open house on Saturday, May 14th from 1 to 4 p.m. And it's at 1140 South Morton Street. And New Hope for Families has a significant impact on the Bloomington community. And we are invited to join them at their new location as they celebrate the opening of their new facility. There will be tours, refreshments, and door prizes. And you can find out more about New Hope forfamilies.org. That's NEWHOPE 4 FAMILIES.org. And we are also very grateful because our own Phyllis Wycliffe, who volunteers for New Hope, and if you're interested in volunteering, please speak to Phyllis. Now, Phyllis, is that facility the one that's like across from, Feast and right there by the bridge on Morton Street? Yes. It's beautiful. Is it Grimes right there, and then goes back to Catalent? Yeah, wonderful. Well, I've been watching that as it's been constructing, and I don't think I quite knew what that was, but that's a beautiful location. Awesome, awesome. We're going to observe a moment of silence. We are spiritual beings having a physical experience on earth. And with this experience comes all the challenges of being a human together. And we recognize that there are places in our world where there is an appearance of conflict, people are displaced and dying. And in the midst of all this, we believe that there is no person, situation, or force greater than the power of God, our source of peace, strength, wisdom, and courage. So let us take a moment of silence in the one presence as we affirm divine order and the experience and expression of peace in every corner of our planet. And so it is. Now it's time for the Daily Word. And the Daily Word is produced and printed by Unity. And you can learn more about the Daily Word by visiting dailyword.com. And the word for today is Mother's Blessing. And today our affirmation is, I bless all mothers everywhere. The word mother brings to mind love, gentleness, nurturance, and compassion. Even if I did not experience these qualities from the woman who gave me life, I give thanks for them in everyone who has inspired me and touched my life. To my mother and everyone who has blessed me with a mother's care, I send you love. I say a prayer of thanks for your presence in my life, for the sacrifices that you made to give me the opportunity to grow and learn. And you taught me the power of love and gentleness and the strength found in giving. You taught me above all to be true to myself. You are a leader who has taught me to lead by example. I send you thoughts of infinite love and peace as I join with others in gratitude and joy today. And from Proverbs 31, verse 26, she opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. So let's repeat the affirmation together. I bless all mothers everywhere. And now repeat it to yourself silently. I bless mothers everywhere. Today, our speaker is our spiritual ministry co-coordinator, Reverend Lynette Carlson, and our musical inspiration will be provided by Reverend Lynette, Betsy, and Phyllis.
And we're going to let Penny join us, too. And Ginger may play the drums, even. Dan's sitting this one out.
I get to listen.
Sometimes it takes a rainy day just to let you know everything's gonna be all right. All right. I've been dreaming in the sun. Won't you wake me up, someone? I need a little peace of mind. Wake me from this dream that I have dreamed so many times. I need a little peace of mind. Oh, I need a little peace of mind. When you open up your life to the living, all things come spilling in on you, and you're flowing like a river, the changer and the changed. You got to spill some over, spill some over, spill some over all. Fill it up and spill it over. It's an endless waterfall, filling up and spilling over all. Filling up, spilling over. It's an endless waterfall, filling up and spilling over all. Like the rain falling on the ground. Like the rain falling all around. Sometimes it takes a rainy day just to let you know everything's gonna be all right. I know, I know, I know, all right. Filling up and spilling over, it's an endless waterfall, filling up and spilling over all. Filling up and spilling over, it's an endless waterfall, filling up and spilling over all. Like the rain falling on the ground. Like the rain falling all around.
and spill it over. It's an endless waterfall, filling up and spilling over, over all. Filling up and spilling over. It's an endless waterfall, fill it up and spill it over, over all. Filling up and spill it over, over all.
That song is titled Waterfall, as you might guess, and it's from an album titled The Changer and the Changed. I thought that would be perfect for this morning. The song was written and performed by Chris Williamson, and it was released by independent label Olivia Records in the last century, 1975. It became one of the best independent releases of all time and sold over 100,000 copies in its first year of release. It eventually sold an estimated 500,000 copies. And The Changer and the Changed is the very first LP to be entirely produced by women. And it's the all-time best-selling album to come out of the women's music genre. Aptly titled, it heralded a change and began a new wave in the recording industry, as well as in the field of women's music. Women's music festivals sprang up around the country, one of which was held here in Bloomington for many years with the support of some of our own members. And I think, if I remember correctly, that Terry and Melanie met at the West Coast Women's Music Conference sometime after 1975. Maybe 1990, but I'm not sure. So our theme this month is change. Change gracefully. And our affirmation, I embrace change and navigate it gracefully. As I thought about change, I realized it's something that is both caused, we make a change, and it's experienced. The world changed. It's external, and it happens internally too. Sometimes it happens to us. Sometimes it happens through us. Sometimes with our graceful acceptance, and sometimes in spite of our kicking and screaming. Change takes place around us and within us, physically, mentally, and spiritually. Perhaps if there were no change, there'd be no need for religion. But frankly, it's hard to imagine either one of those. Let's take a look at what Unity says about the metaphysics of change. A quote from Charles Fillmore in the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. Metanoia is a Greek word found in the Christian scripture, which means change of mind, transformation of the mind, or change of thought or purpose. The word metanoia is usually translated into English as repentance. That's what we do when we make a mistake, or when we've seen the error of our ways and sought forgiveness. Fillmore notes that this repentance has always almost exclusively focused on conduct, but that misses the point. Jesus taught that forgiveness for and redemption from our wrong thinking is the point. The word repentance reminds me of the little bit of French I know. Repense is to think again. It's actually from the Latin. They both have the same root. It doesn't mean behave. It means think again. Rethink that. unthink that, perhaps, and think it right this time. It's really about change, and a change of mind. Sometimes, as Zara and I have often discussed, a change of worldview is really what it takes. It occurred to me as I contemplated sharing a message about change on Mother's Day that birth is the biggest single change that any of us ever experience in this earthly realm, at least. And we don't even consciously remember it. Well, whenever one believes that life begins, it certainly changes dramatically at the moment of birth. Those of us who have physically given birth may know that gestation, growing an embryo that changes into a fetus and then a child, changes the mother as well. A couple of interesting factoids about that. Research tells us that a mother is not the same person she was before having children. In an article by Janine Dunlop that appeared in Motherly, in an updated version in April of 2022, her research showed that Scientific American reported in 2006 that almost all female mammals undergo quote-unquote fundamental changes during pregnancy and after birth, and that pregnancy and lactation hormones may alter the brain, increasing the size of the neurons in some regions and producing structural changes in others. So if you hear a new mother saying, I can't get my head together, it's because it's not the same head she used to get together. That same article by Dunlop reports that researchers from the Netherlands in 2015 proved that during pregnancy, fetal cells enter and spread throughout the mother's body. Called microchimerism, I think that's right, pronunciation. It's the presence of cells with a different genetic background within the mother's body. The researchers collected samples from 26 women who had been pregnant with sons and found the presence of Y chromosomes in all of them. Childbearing is the kind of change that takes place without our conscious effort. Some women welcome it. Some reject it. Some ignore it. The best mothers may not have planned every pregnancy they experience, but they find a way to embrace it and navigate it as gracefully as possible. This, of course, is made more difficult by the attendant morning sickness and weird cravings. It's said that a baby changes everything. Well, not only does bearing children change the women who carry them, at the household and community level as well, as in society in general, women, most of whom are mothers, act as key agents of change. UNESCO is the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization. When they had their 40th General Conference in Paris in 2019, they considered the question, what makes mothers key agents of change? The keynote speaker stated that women, especially mothers, are the first victims of violence, as we've seen in the Russian invasion of Ukraine. But everywhere, mothers are rising to face it. A mother never gives up, even if she is abandoned by the side of the road. She always takes the path that will lead her children to a better future. This speech asserts that while mothers may be vulnerable, they're also change agents, motivated to act on the highest interest of their children. I would quote further from this address, but I've already admitted that my French is a little bit rusty and I can only find it in French. On a more personal level, let's consider Peter Shepard, founder of humanperiscope.com. He wrote an article titled, My Mom, the Change Agent, that appeared in the blog itsyourturn.com. He tells about a decision his mother made 26 years ago that changed his family's vacations forever. And any of you who have ever taken a long trip with children, they weren't my children, but I had a whole slew of them in a 15-person van once, and we drove all the way to Providence, Rhode Island, and back. Well, Peter's mother was tired of having 3 kids under 10 pinching, punching, and arguing with each other in the back seat of the family car. So, Mom told Dad to pull the car over. She stepped out of the passenger side, opened the rear door, and said to Peter's brother, "Get in the front." Confused, the brother did as he was told, while Mom clambered into the middle of the back seat, in between Peter and his sister. We used to call that sitting on the hump. It's not the most comfortable seat in the vehicle. Well, they sat there for the next 7 hours in what quickly became a calm and subdued car ride. Peter summarized, "My mom did what mothers do instinctively. She decided to lead with generosity, empathy, and service to her team." And he uses this as an example to say that all leaders have the same choice to intentionally make decisions that create change, and to make these decisions in pursuit of a better version of a shared future, and to do so with generosity, empathy, and service to our teams, just like a good mother. Interestingly, I realized he did not say that mother always rode in the middle of the back seat after that, or if that one gesture that lasted 7 hours was enough to extinguish the behavior that she intended to extinguish when she sat in the back seat. But nevertheless, it was a bold choice, and it made a lasting change. Birth changes us, whether it's our own or the birth of our child. And in seeking our highest and best, mothers also change us, both by their example and by their ability to influence our situations and circumstances. But Unity teaches that the most profound and powerful agent of change in our lives is our thinking. If you're not content with your life as it is today, it may be time to think again. Time to rethink the way we think. I spoke with a friend this week who was recounting her day, and she was relieved to report that she had accomplished some of what she called her pain-in-the-neck errands. It took all my self-control in that moment not to blurt out, "You'll always have pain-in-the-neck errands if you think of them that way." But I had more self-control than that. But it reminded me there was an old quote I used to carry in my wallet until it was dog-eared. But when I first found it, it spoke to me so loudly. I don't know, it's probably in the previous century. I honestly don't remember, and it's long gone now because I shared it with a friend once, and she gently invited me to think again. The quote is from E.E. Cummings, and it's on being a student, I think is paraphrase of the title. The quote says, "To be nobody but yourself in a world which is doing its best day and night to make you somebody else means to fight the hardest battle which any human being can fight and never stop fighting." Ugh. I was down with that. I was going to do whatever it took. And that kind of summed up my life at that time. It was fueled by a lot of anger. And all my friends said when I shared this, what I thought was a really cool quote with her, she said, "Until you don't." And I didn't know what to say. I was like, "What? You just trashed my quote." Well, I had never imagined that someday I might win that fight and I wouldn't have to fight anymore, or I'd give up the fight. I wouldn't care anymore. And I could barely see the possibility when she suggested that to me. In fact, I'm sure I objected. But she planted a seed. And that's the way our thinking works. Somebody comes along and drops a seed, and we're like, what's that doing there? But if it brings information that we need, we hang on to it. You know, it's like heritage seeds. We hang on to them even if we're not sure what to do with them at this point. But later, I'm sure unity was part of the picture, I started to see the point. And now I have clients who face the world with both fists up, you know, ready for a fight. And I just think, until you don't. It stuck with me, and now I not only understand it, but I live it every day. And this is certainly a change I am grateful to have been able to embrace. So, in conclusion, I'm going to leave you with a little story. Food for thought. It's one of those seeds. It's an often quoted wisdom story that I call the parable of the twins in the womb. And it first appeared in Henry Nouwen's book, Our Greatest Gift, a meditation on dying and caring, which was published by Harper One in 2009. But it was quoted by Wayne Dyer, who's a little more widely read than Father Nouwen. In his book, Your Sacred Self, Making the Decision to Be Free. It was published by HarperCollins in the same year. Here's a story. I need a drink. Isn't allergy season lovely in southern Indiana? We'll see if I can get through this. In a mother's womb were two babies. One asked the other one, "Do you believe in life after delivery?" The other replies, "Why, of course. There has to be something after delivery. Maybe we're here to prepare ourselves for what we will be later." "Nonsense," says the first one. "There's no life after delivery. What would that life be?" "Well, I don't know, but maybe there'll be more light than there is here. Maybe we'll walk with our legs and eat with our mouths." The other says, "That's absurd. Walking is impossible. And eat with our mouths? Ridiculous. The umbilical cord supplies nutrition. Life after delivery is to be excluded. The umbilical cord is just too short." I think there is something, and maybe it's different than here, the first said. The other replies, "No one has ever come back from there. Delivery is the end of life. And in the after delivery, it's nothing but darkness and anxiety, and it takes us nowhere." Well, delivery day arrived, and the first twin was born to great cheers and celebration. And the second one was left alone in the dark. And now our music team is going to help us prepare for meditation.
To the living Spirit of truth, I am open, my heart is open to the living Spirit of truth. I am open, I am open, my heart is open to love. I am open, I am open, my heart is open.
Take a deep breath and relax. Lean back and feel the support of the surface beneath you and behind you. Continue to breathe deeply and evenly. We all need support, especially when we experience change. It's important. The best mothers support us as we navigate change with their words of wisdom, now and in the past, as well as their examples of navigating changes in their own lives. When our own mothers didn't have or couldn't give the wise support we needed, somehow the universe knew and provided another nurturing source to meet our need. Grandmother, teacher, counselor, neighbor, friend. And when there was no person to help us, we discovered inner resources, spiritual wisdom within us to help us safely ride the waves of change. We are never alone, never left to deal with the changes perhaps we want to make, or the ones we have thrust upon us. We're never all by ourselves. We have all we'll ever need to navigate change gracefully within us in the silence.
am that love. I am the love of God. You are the love of God. You are the love of God. The love that makes the universe. The love that sustains us all. You are that love. You are the love of God. We are the love of God. We are the love of God. The love that makes the universe. The love that sustains us all. We are that love. We are the love of God. You are that love. You are the love of God. I am that love. I am the love of God.
Thank you, Reverend Lynette. We turn now to the spiritual practice of generosity. We are grateful for the many ways that this center supports us in our spiritual growth, and we, in turn, are happy to support the center with our financial contributions and our voluntary service. Today, as we participate in the activity of abundance, we welcome not only tangible treasure, but also your blessings. As the offering bag circulates around the room, we welcome you to your treasure and your blessing. Simply place your hand over the bag and offer a thought of gratitude before you pass the bag to the next person. We are also grateful for those of you who have already put into place automatic online giving. Thank you. Your consistency and dedication help create a stable and thriving spiritual community. As our greeters come forward to prepare for the offering, please join me in speaking aloud our abundance affirmation. Together, I am an abundant being living in an abundant universe. God is the source of my supply. I am not dependent on people or situations for my good. God is the source of my supply. I always have something to give, and I consistently give it. I expect the best, I give my best, and I now attract the best in every experience.
Go out and shine your light. You know the time is right. You gotta go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. Go out and shine your light. You know the time is right. You gotta go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. Step out and take a chance. Walk the talk, join the dance. Relax, enjoy the ride. Let kindness be your guide. Come on and go out and shine your light. You know the time is right. You gotta go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. One voice, one hand, one heart. Wanna change, make a start. We're one big family. Love shines through you, love shines through me. Come on and go out and shine your light. You know the time is right. You gotta go out and shine your light. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. Go out and shine. Go out and shine.
Let us now bless our abundance with these words. Together, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you. I would like to invite you now to stand and join with me in saying our closing prayer. Together, we give thanks for the light that fills us, the love that enfolds us, the power that heals us, the presence that guides us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. In gratitude for our radiant health, please remain in place and join us in singing "Let There Be Peace on Earth." Please take some flowers.